Lesson 711, Weights of State Birds. The main focus of this lesson is for you to be able to convert pounds and fractions of pounds to ounces. I want you to be able to discuss strategies for converting these fractions and mixed numbers of pounds to ounces, and then finally to be able to solve multi-step fraction number stories involving typical weights of state birds. But let's start first with our mental math and fluency. Look at the mixed number subtraction problems. I want you to solve them. Well, first of all, I'm going to teach you how to solve them more efficiently. First, we need to look at our numerators. And can I subtract my one numerator from the other one? And I can. So what I'll simply do first is I will subtract the whole numbers. 4 minus 2. And I know that 4 minus 2 is 2. Now I subtract the numerators. 5 minus 1 is 4. My denominator, since they're both the same, stays the same. So it's 2 4/8, or 2 1/2. Again, I can see that my numerator can be subtracted easily. So I'll do my whole numbers first. 3 minus 1 is 2. And now I'll subtract my fractions. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 is my denominator, so it's 2 2 6. And finally, I subtract my whole numbers. 5 minus 3 is 2. Now I subtract my fractions. 5 twelfths minus 1 12th. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4, and 12ths is my denominator. So 2 4 twelfths is my answer. Converting from pounds to ounces. There are 16 ounces in a pound. So if I have 1 pound, what did I do to get my ounces? I multiplied by 16. So if I write this rule here, then I know from here on out, that's what I'm going to have to do to figure out my ounces. I'm going to take 1 times 16 to get 16. And of course, again, 3 times 16 is what? 5 times 16 and 10 times 16. Now let's look at converting fractions to ounces. Well, remember, if I'm doing a half a pound, I'm cutting the ounces in half. So half of 16 is 8. There are 2 ounces in each group, so 1/8 pound equals 2 ounces. So how would I do that? Well, if it's 16 ounces that I need to get, how does 8 become 16? Times 2. So what do I do the numerator? I also times that by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Again, if I'm doing 1/4, I'm converting it to 16 ounces. So again, how does 4 become 16? Times 4. So whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. So 1 times 4 is 4. So how many ounces do I have? I have 4 out of 16. So 1/4 of a pound is 4 ounces. And again, if I have 3/4 a pound, again, if I'm thinking of ounces and converting it to 16, how did 4 become 16? Times 4. So what is 3 times 4? 12. So if I have 3/4 of a pound, I have 12 ounces. Remember, you can always rewind the recording in order to see how I did that again, so that you can do this yourself without having to ask for assistance. So now turn to Math Journal page 258. I want you to finish the problems on Math Journal page 258, which is looking at weights of state birds. Once you finish with that page, I want you to bring it up to me, because this is going to be an assessment check-in for the entire page. Number 2 for Math Journal, page 258 reads, solve this number story using drawings or equations to show how you found your answer. The yellow hammer is the state bird of Alabama. If a yellow hammer weighs 1/4 a pound, what is the weight of 6 yellow hammers? So we're going to do 1/4 of a pound 6 times. Next, is that more or less than 30 ounces? You're going to have to convert this answer into ounces in order to know what that solution should be. Pause the recording now and do number 2. Problem 3 on Math Journal, page 258 says, what is the combined weight of 3 4 3/8 pound ninis from Hawaii and 2 7 5/8 pound brown pelicans from Louisiana? So again, we're going to have to write 4 3/8 pounds down 3 times. We're going to have to write 7 5/8 pounds down 2 times to find out how many pounds altogether that is. Pause the recording now and do problem 3. Problem 4 says, which weighs more, 5 7/8 pounds greater roadrunners from New Mexico or 4 1 1/8 pound ruffed grouse from Pennsylvania? Well, look at your numbers are right here together. I'm going to have to write 7/8 pounds down 5 times and combine it. And I'm going to have to write 4 1 1/8 pounds and combine it. I will label this one New Mexico, and I will label this one Pennsylvania. And in order to figure out how much more, I'm going to have to subtract from my sign. Again, pause the recording, finish number 4, and then bring it up to me so that I can check your answers. This is Math Journal, page 260. Math box 1 reads, Miss Hill's 3 dogs weigh 56, 62, and 65 pounds. Mr. Hoffman's 3 dogs weigh 67, 72, and 75 pounds. How much more does Miss Hill's dogs is the combined weight of Mr. Hoffman's dogs? Well, you're going to have to figure out first Mrs. Hill's weight for her 3 dogs and come up with a total. Then you're going to have to total up Mr. Hoffman's. And we already know by what your problem says. It says how much more than Mrs. Hill's dogs is the combined weight of Mr. Hoffman's. So we know his is going to weigh more. So this is going to be my first number, and I'm going to be subtracting Mrs. Hill's total weight. I'm going to have that in pounds, but this is asking for ounces. So there's 16 ounces in a pound, so I'm going to be multiplying to convert the pounds into ounces. Pause the recording now and figure out Math Box on Math Journal, page 260. Once you've figured that problem out, you can go ahead and figure out the rest of this page. For Math Box number 2, you're going to use the rule to complete the box, and it's telling you right here your rule is times 5. So you're going to times the number in the in, times 5 to get the out. But if I'm working backwards from out going back to in, I will reverse this sign into division and take my out number divided by my rule to get my in number. Math box number 3 says it is 7/8 mile from Ann's house to Emma's. On her way home, Emma stopped at the store, which is 3/8 of a mile from Ann's. How much further did Emma have to walk? So don't forget, write your number model with your answer, and your units is going to be miles. You have 2 division problems in Math Box 4. You can use whatever method you would like, partial quotients or regular division. And 5 asks you to look at the outputs in problem 2 and what patterns do you see that are not part of the rule. Pause the recording, finish Math Journal, page 260, then go up to the answer key, correct it. If you have any wrong, please bring it back to me. Math Masters, page 286 is what you're going to do next. So please pause the recording now and go up and get that loose leaf sheet out of the file folder. It is telling you to solve by either drawing a picture or show how you solve the problem. So remember, once again, you could just simply multiply and say 5 times 3 is 15. I leave my denominator the same, which is 5. Now really, my fraction here says 15/5, so that's 15 divided by 5, so that equals 3 wholes. Or I could have done 5 times 3 over top of my denominator 5, which again is just a different way to show that what I did was 5 times 3 is 15. My denominator again is 5. Pause the recording now, finish Math Masters page 286, and bring it up to me when you've completed it. Your final practice and assessment piece is going to be Math Journal, page 259. It's just asking you to solve a few problems. I want you to take that up to the answer key once again. Check it there. If you got anything wrong, I want you to bring it over to me so that I can show you what you need to do differently to get it right. This is the end of lesson 711.